Rick, it obviously came down to the last minute. What was the difference, do you think? What made the difference for you guys?
Well, I thought both teams, it was a hard-fought, physical game. And I think that when two teams are locked in like that, I think scoring's hard to come by. And we just kept talking about it. We could just stay with it defensively. And I thought they did exploit us a few times. There was with a ball screen there in the last 4 minutes. And we finally, the last two possessions, we did a better job with it. And then we were offense we're playing, and we feel like we have different options. Grant Williams getting fouled, making 2 free throws. Bowden's play, driving to the middle was a big play, and then obviously Lamonte Turner's 3 was a huge shot. But we stayed in it and were able to get it at the end.
Rick, what is it about Lamonte and those big shots? It seems like he so often is the guy with the ball in those moments.
Well, he's not afraid to take the shot there. And for a guy that puts as much time in, he should have confidence. And he normally, when he's tries too much to force us when he's not at his best, but when he lets it come to him, in that situation, he's done that. Really, you go back to the Purdue game, he did that from the corner, but he had the confidence, and I think his teammates have confidence in him too. I thought he got a little tired. He was involved in those ball screens when Diallo was getting down the lane on him. He was laying on the screen a little bit, but he's a competitor, and he fought through that fatigue, and again, he's not afraid to take a shot.
Coach, can you speak to your team's mental toughness? Kind of at the end of both halves, Kentucky went on a little spurt. You reeled them in and went ahead at the end of going into halftime, same thing at the end of the game, and did not be affected by the crowd or the fact that you weren't great offensively tonight. They kept grinding.
Well, they had a lot to do with that, obviously, but yeah, we just feel like if we can play defense, it takes pressure off our offense, and we just, again, I think they came in knowing it was going to be this kind of basketball game, and I do think our team is getting better, trying to understand what we're trying to do through scouting, and the assistant coaches get all the credit for that. Those guys do a terrific job, but as a group, I think our guys, they look at each other and they believe in each other, and we just kept talking about let's stay with it defensively and rebound the ball, and we'll find something to get done on the other end. And tonight I thought it was an example. We didn't know where it was going to come from. We didn't, but I think Bowden in the second half had 11 points, and his were big. And I thought a big play was the offensive rebound he got. That was a big one when Kyle was tipping around down there, and he came down with it because you could almost feel some momentum building for them. I thought that was a big play, and but we did turn it over. Our guards turned it over a couple of times there in the last couple of minutes. We were able to overcome that, and but it's a team win, but that's how we've done it all year. Everybody knows it. Talks about Grant, what he does, but as much as we do play through him, we're not afraid to go the other way and let other guys do some things too.
On your left, Coach. To that point, did you come into this game kind of not focusing on going through Grant as much because of the matchups with Vanderbilt and Washington?
We knew they were going to come at him hard. We knew that. They trapped him a couple of times out there at the three-point line, and we actually were trying to set up there at the end to try to invite the trap and trying to get a 2-on-1 on the backside, but it never happened. And no, again, we're not surprised, and I think this time of year, we knew that they would go at him on the defensive end, which they did, but yeah, we knew he was going to get double team. We felt certainly they would do that.
Rick, obviously know Cal very well. His sort of general philosophy at the end of games is not to call timeouts when you have the ball, just let it roll, try to put the defense on its heels. Were you not surprised that he didn't call timeout? Did you think maybe in that scenario, as they were reeling a little bit, he kind of took the blame for this one afterwards for not doing that?
Well, again, I think he's got a really young basketball team, and I think that sometimes you're hoping the flow will take care of it, whereas if you call time, I was sitting there looking at my coach was like, when we had the ball there at the end, should we call timeout, should we call timeout? And I was about to, and my coaches called me off because I felt like we were doing the same thing, and we were fortunate to make a shot. But he's a great basketball coach, and I'm sure he's taken some of that take away from his guys, not feeling like they, you know, it was, I mean, he's a terrific coach. And, but we were concerned about, we knew we were going to foul. And, but I mean, you know, everybody thinks that's a really easy thing to do. I've been in games where there's so many factors when you do it. You know, one will the official call it on the catch, or he's going to call it when the guys in the act, because you know they're going to get in the act of shooting. And then you got to deal with the free throw blockout, you know, in that situation. But we'd made up our mind right then and there that we were going to foul when it crossed half court. And we were fortunate to, when the second one that we didn't, we were able to get control of it. But again, I understand Cal saying that, I do. But I mean, believe me, he's made a lot more right decisions, and he's made wrong, I can tell you that.
Rick, with the SEC being so competitive, how much of a gap is there between Kentucky and everybody else, or any team and everybody else?
I don't think it is a big gap. I don't think it is. I mean, you look at it, this is the best basketball league in the country, and I don't know why people don't want to own up to that. I mean, there's so much, in 1 week, you can go from first to last, somewhere in between, you know, from 10 to 4 probably, because everybody's so bunched up. And if it keeps going like it is right now, this league should have 9 teams in the NCAA tournament, because it's going to, you know, going to shake out somewhere along the line. But it's as competitive as any league I've ever coached in, and right now there's, I mean, every I don't know what the other games, how they played out tonight, but you look at all of them, they're 1 or 2 possession games.
Hey Rick, I don't know if you like doing to your left. I don't know if you like doing stuff on a scale of 1 to 10, but compared to your kids coming in the last year, how much added confidence as a group do you guys have?
Well, I mean, we're a totally different team. I mean, we're totally different. I mean, we haven't been able to play defense at all for 2 years coming prior to this year. We maybe could play a game at home where we could win with some emotion, but emotion's not going to win for you all the time. It'll win for you some. But we knew coming into this year that we had to totally change, and we had a bunch of guys coming back a year ago where we started harping on it, but we made a commitment that that's what we were going to do. So we're a totally different defensive team, much better. You go back to 2 years ago on the offensive end, Kevin Punter, actually in this game 2 years ago, is when we didn't realize that he had a stress fracture that had been brewing for a couple weeks. We didn't know it, and he was done after the game here. Robert Hubbs had to have his knee drained twice in the last 3 weeks last year, and we couldn't overcome either one of those guys. This year, we felt like that the depth that we had to develop. So not only are we talking about what we've tried to do on the defensive end, we feel the same thing on the offensive end, that we're going to play guys, and we believe that we go to the bench, those guys are going to help us. So we're a totally different team than we were last 2 years in the league as overall.
Last one here, Larry.
Rick, could you just talk a little bit about what you all tried to do defensively against Knox tonight?
Well, what we tried to do as much as we don't want to lose our aggressiveness in the backcourt. And the biggest thing that we tried to adjust, we normally stay with that 94 feet, but when the ball crossed half court, we wanted to back up to the NBA 3-point lines and not give them space where they could get the court opened up on us. And we were concerned about them getting out running on us, but we don't switch a lot. And but the biggest thing, we were just trying to take space away from their post players and space away from their guys that we knew that they really wanted to play through.
Okay, folks, thank you very much.
Thank you all.